Have you ever wanted to play a 3D platformer built around couch co-op? Well, have I got a game for you. The Adventures of Pete and Toby is a two-player 3D platforming collectathon that features two characters that play very differently. This game takes inspiration from many of these titles, but takes a majority of its inspiration from games like Spyro, Banjo-Kazooie, and Brothers. However, this game adds one key feature that none of these games contain, which is split-screen co-op. The game features two main protagonists, Pete the Turtle and Toby the Penguin. The game will be split screen and will be shot from a third-person perspective. Just like any 3D platformer, this game will have run, jump, attack, and swim, but these actions will act differently depending on the character you play. For example, Pete will only be able to swim on top of the water, while Toby will only be able to dive underwater. There is also a grab mechanic, which allows you to interact with physics-based objects, and there is a special move that each character has. For Pete, his special move is to retract into his shell. While he is in his shell, he becomes completely invulnerable to damage, but is unable to move, and he becomes a physics object. With Toby, he will have a slide ability. With the slide ability, it grants him brief invincibility while he is sliding. He can also use this to slide down hills, clear large gaps, and defeat enemies. The gameplay will revolve around platforming, getting collectibles, defeating enemies, but most importantly, using both characters to solve puzzles. With these puzzles, there will be multiple different ways in which you can solve them using each character. For this example, you can use Toby to swim underwater, press the button, thus lowering the water level. From there, both players will be on the ground. You can use Pete to come over here, Toby can use him as a stepping stool and hop up and get the coin. Alternatively, you can hop on top of Pete as Toby, come over to the gate, hop on top, press the button, lower the gate, thus allowing Pete to swim over and grab the collectible. Being a co-op game, if one player dies and there's no lives left, it will result in an immediate game over. However, lives can be found throughout the levels, and if the player sacrifices some of their collectibles, they can actually get another life. However, doing so, they will lose these collectibles and will be unable to get them back until completing the level and returning to the level. Furthermore, at any time, if both players hold down the switch button at the same time for more than 3 seconds, they can instantly swap roles. The overall goal of the game is to get all the collectibles. However, each level will have a certain special type of collectible, such as a key. These keys will allow you access to the next level. Once you get all the keys, you'll go to the final level and defeat the boss. The game will feature 4 main types of enemies. You'll have your regular enemies, projectile enemies, large enemies, and you will have your special enemies. Enemies will require a little bit of teamwork to be defeated, because they can only be defeated using physics objects. Lucky for you, you can use P as a physics object to defeat these enemies. However, special enemies will not be defeated so easily. After a certain amount of time, they will come back. Each time they come back, they will become increasingly more aggressive and deal more and more damage. So this forces the player to choose whether or not to interact with these enemies right away or save them for later. The biggest risk with the game right now is, of course, the scope, and I plan on mitigating this by using a form of spiral development, in which we will start by making a hub world. The hub world will contain all the mechanics, enemies, and collectibles found in the base game, and from the hub world, we will then make the levels. This has been my game. Thanks for tuning in.